This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. If you aren't expecting adult language, why even bother listening?
I met some people along the way. Some of them fit, some of them stay. Some of them want some more gone by. Gotta be friends, I love till I die. From all these people I try to learn. Some of them shine, some of them burn. Some of them rise, some of them fall. For good or bad, I know them all.
To it, in transition comes Orlando. Here comes Ojeda. Joaquin Ojeda able to work this across. Opportunity here, saved by Coronel. Tremendous stop to deny Facundo Torres. Sean Ellis missed it. Here's Enrique for Orlando City. Closed down a second time. Cam Harper, what a play to save Red Bull there. Out for an Orlando throw. See how they play it here from the outside. Signal by the New Jersey native. Headed and a goal! Oh, it's the man, Andres Reyes, with the finish at the far post, and the Red Bulls have the lead on the road.
One, play it safe and don't make a sound. But not us, we won't back down.
There are fans surely watching right now who sat in a cold, empty Giants stadium years ago looking for some reason to have their team make them smile. It didn't happen a lot. They cheered for the likes of Miola, Mathis, and Petke. They tried it with international stars like Donadoni and Henry. There were club legends like Luis Robles, Wright Phillips, who's watching back in the studio right now in New York. None of those men took this team to the mountaintop. This group will have a chance to do it 90 minutes away. We know this, they'll go west. And you never thought you'd hear these words. The New York Red Bulls will play for MLS Cup.
Welcome, my friends, to the Show Enough Friends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Truman, and this is episode 473, Once More with Feeling.
Who would have thought we would be here?
Nobody that does this podcast or did this podcast.
Or probably anybody else surrounding the team, except for the players.
Yeah, except for the players on that team, no one.
Don't get me wrong, we all wanted it to happen, but we didn't think it was going to happen.
Right.
But here we are, the Red Bulls in their second MLS Cup Final after a 1-0 win at Orlando. Don Garber getting the, for him, lower of the two New York LA matchups.
This is the New York LA game he did not want.
Yeah.
But it's back. The 1% Derby is back. After all these years, it's finally returned.
All right. So, a lot to talk about. Are you good to read the tweets or should I? So, by the way, not only is the soundboard still not working, but Truman is having a shit ton of tech problems, more than usual. So this is going to be a great show this week.
So the sound might sound a little weird than normal because I have to do this over my phone and not my laptop because Skype doesn't work on the laptop. Dude, this has been a completely insane disaster. Like, we're both trying to fix our shit at the same time. Of course, the powers that be are trying to stop us from podcasting about the fucking most important game in Red Bull history. So, but listen, I'm going to read you some tweets. We do have those. I'm a little bit disappointed. I guess we're all just celebrating too hard. We didn't get a lot of tweets.
Yeah. Not
even Steven Santos, but I'm sure he was partying way too hard. But anyway, we did have Ken at Ken Camera say woohoo, at Adam F, 2024 Eastern Conference champion New York Red Bulls. We are also the Western Conference champion Red Bulls, so good for us. Francesco said Octung baby. And our friend Eddie Pierre Delecto said, check the voicemail live from Celtic Corner. He actually said, check the voicemail live from Celtic Corner.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put the voicemail right here, but just know that we are not listening to this live as we talk. I've listened to it. Truman just knows the gist of it because I've not been able to play it for you.
Yeah.
That's our tech adventure today. All right, but here's Eddie Delecto. So I can only imagine that was a very raucous scene, considering I had to literally tamper down the audio setting to make sure that was not blowing anybody's eardrums out.
And I mean, if you saw any of the video on Instagram or Facebook from like all the other watch parties, you knew how fucking crazy it was. Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I gotta admit, it took a lot of willpower to not just start jumping up and down in my house.
Same. Let me ask you this: how many nails did you bite off after the Red Bull scored? Because I think I took all of mine off.
See, I didn't take any nails off, but for me, it was measured in how far was I inching closer to the edge of the couch.
That's true. Also very true. I must have shifted positions about 400 times in those waning minutes.
I think after the goal, I sat back and I was just like, no, this is not fucking happening. And then probably around the 70th minute or so, probably got halfway to the edge of the couch. Then like 80 minutes, I was probably from then on just like inching or whatever you want to call it, like micro metering closer and closer to the edge. My wife and I were supposed to be putting up Christmas decorations. That got put on pause for the second half of the game. So,
oh my God, yeah.
Absolutely nothing's going to happen at 4:00 on Saturday. So,
here's the problem, guys. I'm at work. I'm at work till 5. Now, there is a television that I can put on, which is good. But how do I avoid work for the last hour? And then how do I watch the second half of the game? I'm guessing the game is not starting at 4:00. I'm guessing the game is probably starting, what would you say, like 4:20, 4:25, something like that.
No, I think actually starting at 4 because Fox's coverage starts at 3:30.
Then I'm in big trouble. This is the second time. The Red Bulls have only been in the finals twice, 2 times. The previous time I was at a wedding. So I mean, I know why they put this game on at 4:00 because I'm sure there's just too many college football conference championship games that are more important than MLS. But I really hate that this game's. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but I really hate that this game's at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, they couldn't make this any later because you don't want your final to be running that late into night. And plus, you're on the East Coast with the weather. Like, imagine, I hate to say it, but imagine if like New England or Toronto type of team had made the Cup Final and was hosting.
Well, we've seen what happens when the city of Toronto hosted a final. That was when the Rapids played. Who the hell did they play in that final? It was just nightmarishly cold.
Yeah. So I mean, the 4:00 start just makes sense from that perspective, right? To that, no matter who's hosting, there's sunlight. It's the best possibility of warm weather kind of stuff for a December game, right? So there's all that to take into account.
Right.
You know, we're talking about all this stuff, and we haven't talked about the actual game yet.
I know. That's why I said we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're a little excited.
Yeah. For those who don't follow the show, this is my first MLS Cup Final following the Red Bulls. So I've been here for an Open Cup Final, but not an MLS Final. So this is something new. But let's get into it. So 1-0 win over Orlando. Again, we're gonna knock out the dislikes because I'm pretty sure we just wanted to just gush about what we liked about this one. So I'll go to you. What'd you dislike about this one?
I think the biggest problem I had with this game was that Reyes was the only one who scored a goal. I mean, we could generally talk about Reyes in this whole game because he gets the early yellow, which made everybody nervous because there's a central defender on a yellow, in the first half. But that was a big issue. So they were it was really hard. It was hard to watch because you didn't know what they were going to do. Were they going to take it out? Of course, I tweet, hey, pull him out now. And then he goes and scores a goal. And that being the only goal. But I think that was the only thing that was a little tough, was that your only goal scored was by a defender. And you didn't get enough action, I think, from the forwards.
I mean, come on. Once they scored that goal, it was defend as much as you can, really.
Right.
My dislike is going to be those two looks in the first half that, thank God, was it Cornell and was it Edelman? I don't remember if it was Edelman.
No, was it Harper? Somebody came back and made that huge play.
I think it was Harper.
Harper, right? He came running back.
Yeah, but that easily could have been 2-0 at halftime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Especially
we're
the first
probably
one.
talking a much different outcome here.
Yeah. The Carlos Coronel save was, that was you thought was just, that was in the back of the net when you saw the pass come, right? That was just a given. Yeah. Boom, there's the goal. And then they would have been in huge trouble. But he made just an outstanding save there.
Came out just enough to make himself big, took away whatever angle the attacker had. And then Harper, whenever you see a defender make a slide tackle in the box, you always, in their own box, you have to kind of hold your breath and hope that nothing happens. And I swear to God, I was waiting for the referee to call a penalty on that one, but thank God he got it exactly right.
It was a perfect play. It was perfect placement. Right. He did nothing wrong. It was a great play.
No notes, but the notes were the fact that it even happened in the first place.
Yeah.
But when you don't give up a goal for 2 straight playoff games, you really can't argue. So all in all, it worked out. All right. Likes this game. Andre Reyes with the fucking missile header or kamikaze header, whatever you want to call it, because he almost hit the post.
He was all in on that. Yeah, he actually physically almost crashed into the post on that one.
Well, he technically did hit the post, right? His arm got it. It's just there was a legitimate chance he would have headed the post with his. So, when I saw that ball bounce off the post, I was like, I thought that was originally off his head.
Yeah.
Then I saw the replay. I'm like, holy shit! Like he really could have missed that too. He was so close. He almost missed it.
But another great free kick play by these guys.
Yeah.
They haven't perfected the art, but they've capitalized on a lot of those opportunities, whether it be off corners, whether it be off plays like that. Massive to get that goal. Just absolutely fucking huge, because how well they can play defense for the most part, and we know how well they've been playing defense on the road in these playoffs, which has been unbelievable.
They have three road games, 0 goals given up.
Yeah. Yep.
The only 2 goals they've given up have been at home.
Yeah. And my like is just, aside from those 2 opportunities we talked about, we talked about how to win a games. Again, it's mistake-free soccer, and that's how they're winning games, is they're not turning the ball over in bad spots. Hey, Orlando's a good team. That's why they were hosting that game. Yeah, they're going to get their chances, but the Red Bulls, again, did not shoot themselves in the foot. That is how you win time in and time again. It's just not allowing, just no bad giveaways. And that's what they did. It's a solid game. It was a typical Red Bull game of low scoring and great defense.
Yep. I don't know what else to say, honestly. We talked about it. Basically, the way they win is that they make no mistakes. And now I thought the Reyes yellow card was a mistake. Thankfully, that one didn't hurt them, but they played as mistake-free as they needed to, and they won the game. So that's really what it comes down to.
Yep. Yeah.
And I know I saw on the MLS subreddit, some people were complaining about Steve Cangelosi being assigned to this game because of his connections to the Red Bulls and wanting a quote neutral announcer. And I think he was neutral for the game up until literally the last minute. But I'm assuming you heard Steve's call, right?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Okay. How long do you think he's had that call ready to go?
Well, he definitely had it ready. I mean, that was something he probably, and I'm sure he had something written down for Orlando too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think if Orlando had won, I don't think what he would have said was going to be as deep as what he had written for the Red Bulls.
No, it would. Well, that one because of the connection, but two, Orlando also has not been in the league as long.
Right.
But I mean, just in general, like you have to imagine he's had that, like a basis of something, like either in his head or written down to some degree for years, right? I mean, just
right.
Like it's almost like he had that locked and loaded for that moment. And like you said, I'm pretty sure he had something written down like on his notes, but just even emotionally having that locked and ready to go for that moment.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It really was awesome.
That's why I put it in the front. That's why I'm putting it in post in the front of the episode.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not going to get him for the final. If you wanted to watch on a season pass, it's whatever the other guy's name is in Taylor Twellman. So now I'm stuck between Fox and the season pass. Not sure who to go with.
And Taylor Truman having to call the Red Bulls final. It must be him and Alexei Lawless.
Oh God. I mean, Alexei Lawless technically will be on the desk for halftime and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. He does work for Der Fox.
Yeah. Anything else with this game?
Afterthoughts. Like I said, I bit my nails off. I wish I could be watching the game with a bunch of people, but I mean, I don't think anyone up here besides me cares about the Red Bulls, which is fine. I had the big TV, was home, watching the game. It was awesome. Me loudly clapping and scaring everybody in the house when they scored. And it's a great feeling to be able to go into a final, a team that was seated so low that we had absolutely no chance of going. I mean, the way this season was literally just a huge up and a massive down. To get here is unreal. Jay, I think you said it last week, right? Playing with house money. This is what it is.
Yep.
And now they've taken all the money and pushed it into the center of the table.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say something and I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that's right. Yeah. There's nobody around me that would get it either.
But that's true. That is true.
I mean, at least my wife will watch the game with me, but she hasn't. She sports wise has not suffered like we have. And I know I am not the longest suffering fan of this team because I've only been really following them since 2011.
Yeah.
But I'm including my New York Jets grief here in this. You have to a degree your Giants, the Mets, right? Like we all have in New York sports, like the teams that bring us the most grief. And this run, as much as we all want them to win, and realistically the odds are stacked against them again because LA is a good team. This run just feels special at the moment. Like it didn't feel special after the Columbus series. After the win at New York City, though, then it started to feel special.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to go on the road in all these series and win, I mean, it's nearly unheard of. It's Giants 2007 kind of shit.
Yeah. By the way, this is we are the lowest seeded team to make an MLS Cup final.
Why not us, right? Isn't that the line? Why not us?
Now, granted, part of that is the fact that the league didn't expand to like 16 teams until a few years ago, but still.
Right. And hey, I mean, again, as everyone has seen, it's a different team with Emil Forsberg in and out of the lineup. If he's healthy all year, maybe they are one of the higher seeded teams. But the most important thing is that he's healthy now, and I think we said that during the season that if we could just have these players healthy now for the playoff run, maybe they could do some. Well, we were thinking maybe they could just win a game or two. And they've done way more than that.
Well, one more game. That's all it is now. One more game.
Yep.
And speaking of that game, the Red Bulls will take on the LA Galaxy in the Cup Final. Like we were saying, the 1% Derby's back. That match is Saturday, December 7th at 4 p.m., or at least I assume it will actually be 4 p.m. It might be like 4:09 for all I know. The coverage on MLS Season Pass starts, I think, around 2:30. Fox starts at 3:30. This is just unreal. I'm sorry. I'm still not ready. Like, until the game kicks off, I'm still surprised we're here. LA comes into the final with a regular season record of 19-7-8, a plus 19 goal difference, 64 points, good for number 2 in the West, where they were tied on points with LAFC, who beat them on a tiebreaker. In the playoffs, LA went a 2-0 series win over Colorado, a wild 6-2 win versus Minnesota, and then a 1-0 win against Seattle. The one thing in the Red Bulls' favor, and I know I'm gonna screw his name up, so I'm not gonna say it, is
Ricky Puig?
that. What did you say?
Ricky Puig?
Yes, him. He tore his ACL, and as much as that sucks, because you never want to hear a player tore an ACL, that is only in terms of playing the game, that is good news for the Red Bulls, because that means the best player for LAFC is not going to be available.
Also, they'll be missing. Well, they don't know if they're missing Marco Reyes. He's also limited with an injury. I think it's a groin strain or something like that. He didn't play a lot in the last game. I think they said he's remaining hopeful to play, but I mean, he's also, I'm assuming, will not be 100% for this game either.
I mean, realistically, is any player 100% for this game?
No.
At least, the starting 11 and maybe the first 3 or 4 off the bench. Everybody else you could claim is 100, but like the players that are really going to see a lot of action aren't really 100% regardless. So,
but I mean, the good news for the Red Bulls is that the most important players on their team are healthy, right? I mean, yeah. Lewis Morgan is healthy. Emil Forsberg is healthy. Most of the defense is healthy. Your starting goalie is healthy. Those guys are good to go. Most of the bench is good to go. I think that's probably
red cards.
Right. I think that is the one advantage that they will have going into this game.
Yeah, the only player that's questionable is Caballo, who, based on the last match, you could argue is not as big of a loss to not have him, but it would be nice to have him because he's a creative presence in the midfield.
Right.
I think I saw. Say that again.
Can score a couple hell of a goals, really.
Oh yeah, that's right. He scored that screamer against New York City. So
yeah.
I think I saw he didn't practice yesterday or today. I can't remember which day. Or maybe yesterday, because I think they traveled today. So hopefully that's just a precaution to try to get him ready. But either way, trying to remember who stepped in. It was Peter Stroud, right? Stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
Did a good job stepping in because he has not seen a lot of playing time recently. So for him to step in and do that job against Orlando, that's good news. The other thing the Red Bulls will have in their advantage is that a confirmed 2,200 Red Bull fans will be in attendance at that game, including fans that are being supported by the team, because let me make sure I get this tweet because I don't remember all the details about it. So if you're one of the lucky folks to get this, then congratulations. Let's see, the Red Bulls front office bought 700 tickets for the official supporters groups, and offering anybody that gets any of the 700 a $300 travel reimbursement to help with flights and lodging. So if you were one of those 700 people and got $300 credit for basically heading out there, congratulations. That's a really good thing to get. But I know someone spent $700 just in the round trip flight. So I mean that helps offset that a little bit. I mean, a still dropping at least 400 plus. That's not talking a hotel, but that is a huge gesture, massive gesture from this team. Yeah,
I will say this. No, they don't. And I know it's hashtag sell the team a lot, Red Bull out a lot. I know we talk about this, but you can't deny the fact of all the stuff Red Bull has done for the supporters and the fans. I mean, they've bussed them to playoff games. They've bussed them to the draft. They've done a stuff. I mean, they paid for an entire playoff trip to Columbus the one year, So it wasn't just a bus trip to Queens or Foxborough, like they were Philly. They really do. They do a lot for the fans, and I will always give them that with the supporter sections, with the banners and the signs that go up in the arena. So again, this is another great, huge, massive gesture by this organization.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the thread on Twitter. I see this at, and so the thing I saw was Tom Boger reported it, and then somebody whose name right now is Wii Sports Golf, WSG RBNY, said they also bought tickets for Red members / season ticket holders, even if they were not affiliated with the supporters groups. So that too is huge.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you're a season ticket holder and you don't sit in the South Ward, like fuck yeah, they should get hooked up too.
Yeah. I remember when I went to the U.S. Open Cup Final in Kansas City, they paid for a bus for us to go from downtown Kansas City to the stadium, which is not a short drive.
Yep.
So that was a nice gesture. I mean, granted, for me personally, the hotel I picked wasn't they had a hotel that I didn't know about at the time when I purchased my hotel, and I had to get to where the bus was. But either way, going from downtown KC to the stadium, that would not have been a cheap Uber ride. So
right, because you're going into Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah. But yeah, so that'll be huge. Between the players missing for LAFC and the 2,200. I'm going to say probably more than 2,200 in general, but on 2,200 to what I'm guessing the team is helping to pay for.
Right. Probably.
I think having that massive away support plus that advantage of having some players out for LAFC would be good in terms of odds. I'm not saying the Red Bulls should be considered favorites. I don't think they are.
No, not by a fucking long shot.
No, Pat mentioned he put a bet down on I think a $10 bet on the Red Bulls to win, just straight up win, and it was a $200 payout. So I mean that tells you enough as it is.
Right.
But at this point, I'm along for the ride. So I'm just glad to see that this team, the fan base, everything. We finally get to see this kind of moment.
And if you want to know where tickets are going for, lowest price on Ticketmaster right now is $250. So you're looking at starting at $300, right up jump. So there you go. That's a huge help again by the Red Bull.
Yeah. I think I know I mentioned to you guys, for me, because I'd probably fly to BWI. So BWI to LAX round trip, the cheapest I could find was $430. And that was Spirit Airlines.
Oh boy, you're just coming with you in your underwear. That's it when you're flying Spirit.
Well, I was talking to my wife, I'm not doing this, but I was just curious what the prices were. I was like,
right.
The only thing that would make sense is that this would have been a backpack trip anyway. No check bags.
Right.
So they would not have lost anything on me, but either way, that's still it's rough for that round trip.
At that point, I'm just bringing toiletries, change of underwear, change of socks, probably another T-shirt.
See, I'm just bringing clothes, and then because most hotels will just give you shampoo, conditioner, soap, and all that stuff. And then,
you're not worried about that. Yeah.
And they'll give you the toothpaste. At that point, I'm just maybe my deodorant, and that's it.
Toothbrush, deodorant, underwear, socks, maybe a pair of shorts. So, yeah. Not bringing a lot.
No. Maybe tablet for the plane.
Right. Yep.
If you're going out there, just be careful and have fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, actual thoughts about the game.
Yeah, we got to talk about the game. So again, I think I talked about this last week and it didn't happen, but I will bring it up now because now it's extremely, extremely important. Lewis Morgan needs to be involved big time in this game. He has to be the man. I would love for Dante Van Zier to be the man, but now it is time for Lewis Morgan to step up. This is it. There is no bigger game. He is your star forward. He is the guy that has to get involved, has to score for this team to win. You can't rely on another, free kick header goal and hang on for a 1-0 win. He has to be the guy. Forsberg has to be the man. Tolkien has to be the man. That is your key to winning this game. Again, is fantastic defense, no turnovers, and Lewis Morgan showing up. He has to be there on Saturday. Has to.
Yeah. So just because I need to see the standings. The LA Galaxy, 69 goals scored, 50 given up. The Red Bulls, 55 goals scored, 50 given up. And I'm talking regular season.
Right.
This is 2 stingy defenses. So this is time where the offense needs to step up.
Right.
LA does have an offense because, yeah, but LA does have an offense. They scored 9 goals over 2 matches against Colorado. They scored 6 against Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then LA Seattle is like an outlier, but basically LA can put up goals when they want to. So if our defense holds, it's up to the offense to put this one away.
And they know what they have to do. They have to prevent the opportunities. That's what it is. They do that pretty well. They did it really well against NYCFC, except for the final, a couple plays early on, and then in the fleeting moments of the game when they're up 2-0. But right, you have to reduce the chances of this team scoring, because when they get their foot on the ball, there's a great chance they're putting it in the net. So you have to reduce the amount of chances they get. I know this is obvious talk. We're not saying anything new, but that is the way. Right, we know the Red Bulls are not winning in a shootout. Right, they're not winning the game 3-2. It's just not going to happen. So they have to limit chances by the other team. That is just absolute priority number one.
The Red Bulls got to score first.
That too, right? You can't play on the back foot on the road.
No, we got to score first because that allows us to play the game we want. Right? We can then play the high press as much as we want. We can sit back a little bit more. If you get 2, obviously, then that really helps because you can then dictate the way you want to. But the most important aspect of this game is scoring first, because the Red Bulls are not great necessarily when they go down.
Right. And again, in the playoffs, the one game they went down, they were at home.
Yeah.
Against Columbus, that one game, and they scored 2 in a row. But you just don't want to do that on the road. You're just setting yourself up for doom.
Yeah. So if you get that first goal, great. If you get the second goal, then even better. Just basically you have to have a lead, because putting LA at home against the ropes will only benefit the style the Red Bulls want to play.
Yeah.
So that's my key to the game: score first, which is a very simple key to the game.
Again, this is nothing new. These are not amazing breakthroughs of soccer science that we're talking about, but still, they're so massively important.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts for this game?
Here's the other big question I have, and maybe I don't. Listen, the last time in 2008, I believe I taped the game. And I regret it because they lost, and then I did find out that they lost anyway, before I even watched it. So do I not DVR it and I just let it fly? I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I think this is where you get a buddy of yours to come in at 3:45 and go on a 2-hour extended test drive.
That's a great idea. Actually, I got to put in some phone calls. That is a fantastic idea.
And when your boss asks why it's 2 hours, I'm sorry, this is what they wanted.
Yeah, he wanted to drive to, I don't know, Connecticut. See how the car drove.
Yeah.
Come back. Yeah, he hated it.
See, or what you do is, if you know somebody's coming in and they want to buy something, listen, I'll give you a discount. Just come back at 3:45. We'll go for a 2-hour drive. Quote 2-hour drive. I'll give you a little bit of a discount. How does that sound?
The good thing is that no one I work with is going to listen to this show. So more than likely at 3:55, I might just kind of slightly disappear if possible. That's the trick. It's just to slightly disappear.
Yeah. Just pull Homer disappearing into the hedges.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what it is. All right. So no, don't do the sound effects, Truman. I'm going to put it in the post, but we're going to move on to the F1 update.
And box now, box for hard. Stay out. Fuck! Why? What I'm doing?
All right. So
I wanted to do it anyway. I should have done it anyway. That's okay.
I mean, you can do it if you want to. We can do both.
Yeah, box, curse, why. I mean, Max wins. Makes me feel good. You know, that was the biggest part of the whole weekend. I'm sure you know he was slightly upset losing pole and getting put in the second over a one-spot penalty, and he drove like he was pissed off. He drove angry, which was great.
Now, if you only driven angry in the sprint.
Sure, yeah. But, you know, I mean, you've already won the championship at that point. You know, I don't think the sprint meant that much to him. I'm really good. Now, there's only one race left. So what do you do with Checo? That's my question now. Now, they already quote unquote re-signed him, but I mean, they're going to finish third in the Constructors' Championship. How does that get fixed?
I mean, if they keep him, it's got to be that he gets like. I know they technically aren't owned, but I feel like he's got to be either the Red Bull reserve driver or sent to RB. If you're going to pay him.
But I don't know who else steps in. That's the other thing, because all the other top drivers are really filling spots too. But I don't know what the change is to get him back into contention of these races. Or it's going to be the same thing next year. It's going to be Max by himself, which made it harder in the races when you didn't have Checo backing him up, you know, a place or two behind him. When it's him fighting McLaren or Ferrari by himself. It's just, that's his biggest issue right now. Because Max is he's still the best driver in Formula One right now by far. Now we'll see next year with Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari, but Max is the best driver. But there's going to be better competition. McLaren is obviously way improved this year. Ferrari will be way improved. So they have to do something to up their game again.
I'm honestly surprised Hamilton's not already a Ferrari.
No, I mean, you do the right thing by him with his career with Mercedes.
Well, he didn't want to do the right thing at the end of that race.
Yeah. But yeah, one race left, Abu Dhabi, and that's it. Season's over. So it feels like it just started. It started months and months and months ago.
I know, it started in February.
Yeah. It's so funny, but it feels like it just started.
What about Lando Norris's penalty that dropped him down to 10th and basically opened up the constructors?
Yeah, that was a crippling blow for them in that race. Yeah. Absolutely crippling blow. So, hey, it happens to the best of us, as we know. Ask Max's 20 seconds that he was giving in a race. So,
yeah, true. But Max's 20 ended up coming at the end of the race, didn't it?
Yeah, he didn't pit.
Yeah, where and Max's wasn't the stop and go where he had to stop within a certain number of laps.
Right.
That's the other thing. So like Lando's is like, no, you got to serve this, otherwise you're done. You're disqualified. I mean, and then when he got it, threw him to the back, and it's just because the back of the field wasn't that great. That's why he was able to get into 10th.
Yeah.
Well, that was just a weird race all around, wasn't it?
It was. It was very interesting.
But how many cars retired? The random mirror on the track that wasn't removed for like 5 or 10 laps that got ran over and then punctured 2 different cars, and then they finally stopped the race.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah. You want to talk about some silly shit? Go watch that race from last weekend.
Yeah, or just watch the highlights.
Yeah. All right. with that, it's time for the dumping ground.
I'm the trash man.
I feel like there's something I was going to talk about, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I don't know. Oh no, it's the Jets suck still.
Jets suck. Giants suck. I big news, everybody. Don't get mad at me, but I've picked a team for the PWHL, and it's gonna be the first Boston team I'm ever gonna support. So, because the Boston Fleets logo is the coolest thing I've ever seen, but I think they've started the season 0-2, so I'm already in trouble.
So basically, you picked the team that's right in line with everything else.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, they have the sickest jerseys in the league. The New York Sirens
They're
don't.
They're basically going for the Hartford Whalers logo, aren't they?
Yeah, I love it. It's the coolest looking thing, and I love that dark green. It's so badass. So I will root for a team just going on logo alone.
Sirens logo is not that great.
It's not. It's really not. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
All right, now I got to see the other logos. Since last year they didn't have names; they were just New York and Boston, and
Right. Yeah.
which honestly was kind of cool. Minnesota Frost. Let's see what their logo looks like. The Frost is okay. It's nothing special. The Montreal Victory. I mean,
It's okay. It's not bad.
not bad,
great.
but let's see the Ottawa Charge. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Toronto Scepters.
Yes.
No, not thrilled with that logo either.
But look at that Boston Fleet. I mean, that is a masterpiece.
Yeah. That for the PWHL they win.
Right. It just absolutely dominates. I love that dark green color. Again, like you said, it's very Whaler-esque, which I'm sure is not an accident.
I mean, the Whaler logo is always a type of anchor anyway, so it kind of worked, right? It's just they just
Well,
took
the
the
Whalers
anchor and
logo
turned
was
it.
the whale with like kind of like a trident kind of thing going on. The negative space just worked to perfection.
Yeah. Which I feel bad for Hartford. They had such a awesome logo, and then they got their team taken away from them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for dumping ground? I really don't have anything.
No, we're too excited about MLS Cup Final.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing going on right now.
All right. Last segment of the show, Truman's terrible team of the week.
That's terrible.
I don't really have one per se. So, Jay, you're just going to cover your ears while I mention that the Devils absolutely smoked the Rangers in their own building 5-1.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Can I suggest one?
Sure.
West Ham. Or no, not West Ham. Not West Ham. Sorry, that's not who I was thinking of. God, Wolves. Why did I say? It was a W. That's why Wolves. It was the W. That's why. No, Wolves, because Everton are not a great team. Now neither were Wolves, but Wolves lost 4-0 to Everton yesterday. Do you want to take a guess who the top goal scorer was in that game?
I couldn't even tell you.
I got to find his name because I don't know it off the top of my head. The name, I mean.
I was going to say, if you want to say West Ham, they did lose 5-2 to Arsenal. So, I mean,
okay.
you could have had that one.
The top scorer in yesterday's game was Wolves player Craig Dawson, who had 2 own goals.
Oh, you know what? I think I did see that. On what's the new app I'm using? FotMob. Great app. FotMob. Love it. Yep. That is the best soccer app out there.
But 2 own goals by the same player for Wolves. Now, granted, both times he was marking Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and that's why the reason the own goals happened were because of Calvert-Lewin.
Right.
But 2 own goals in this looks 23 minutes.
Woof.
Yeah. I believe the Everton's expected goal count was 1. So that just tells you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like I said, neither team are great. I mean, Everton right now sit 15th in the Premier League, so it's not like they're lighting things up. There's only 5 points separating the 2 teams. It was just Everton's form, and then that happens.
Yeah.
All right. So is that it?
That is it.
Okay. You can visit us at patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. $1 a month gets you exclusive content whenever we decide to do it. I want to thank our producers, Jeremiah Dempster, Steven Santos, and Eddie Delecto. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Email us, redbullrant@gmail.com, if you want to call us and leave us a voicemail, even if it's like one Eddie did, where basically you're just screaming about either being happy or sad this week. 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. On Twitter, @Red Bull Rant for the show. At Doctors2 for myself, at the Truman for Truman. We are now on Blue Sky. At redbullrant.bsky.social. I mean, I think you just search Red Bull Rant and it will come up. I'm Dr. Stooge. You are the Truman on there, right? I don't remember.
Of course, I made sure I got that real fast.
Okay. So basically, same names as Twitter. You can find our show on iTunes, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Last words before we get out of here.
Well, I brought this up years ago. I bring it up again. I don't think Pat is going to jump into the Passaic River if the Red Bulls win on Saturday. But I've already told my buddy at work that if the Red Bulls win, I will get some form of Red Bulls tattoo, and then he's going to get his Celtics championship tattoo at the same time. So that's it. That's what I told him. I said, listen, if they win, we will get sports tattoos together like the fucking idiots we are. So that being said, I'm going to be losing my mind on Saturday, as I'm sure we all will. But I will be wearing a Red Bulls jersey underneath my work clothes. I will be representing. Fucking A, man. I will lose my mind. I will lose my mind completely if they actually go out there Saturday and win.
So you got to wear a red shirt on top of your Red Bulls jersey if you can do it.
I don't have any red dress shirts or anything.
No, you got a day to fix that.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So for Truman and myself, this has been episode 473 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, go Red Bulls.
Let's fucking go.
And in the immortal words of Emil Forsberg, why not us?